नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल दोस्तों। मैं हूं अमरजीत नागी और आज एक नया टॉपिक लेके आपके सामने फिर हाजिर हैं। एंड यू कैन सी वी आर नॉट टू दिस टाइम अराउंड, वी आर थ्री ऑफ अस डिस्कसिंग द टॉपिक। एंड द टॉपिक इज impermanence of reality and our perception. Now, ये टॉपिक थोड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स भी है और थोड़ा सा एसोटेरिक भी है, so I hope you all get it and stay with us till the end. That will be great if you could do that. लेकिन जनरली ये माना जाता है कि जो चीज़ें हैं लाइफ में वो कभी परमानेंट नहीं है। रियलिटी जो है वो कभी स्टैटिक नहीं रहती। सबसे क्लोज ऑब्जर्वेशन तो हमारी अपनी लाइफ है, बचपन है, फिर यूथ है, यूथ के बाद ओल्ड एज है, एंड देन द होल साइकिल स्टार्ट्स अगेन। इसी तरह आप नेचर में भी फ्लोरा एंड फौना देखें तो फल लगते हैं, फल गिरते हैं, देन न्यू क्रॉप कम्स इन, चीज़ें स्टैटिक नहीं होती हैं। अगर आप जनरल यूनिवर्स में भी देखें, ब्रह्मांड में, तो इवन द स्टार्स आर डाइंग एंड एक्सप्लोडिंग इन सुपरनोवा एंड द न्यू स्टार्स आर बोर्न। सो ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम कुछ भी स्थिर नहीं है, स्टैटिक नहीं है। On top of that, we have an issue with our perception. The way we perceive things, just one second. The way we perceive things, it is actually through the medium of light, जो हमारी visual perception है। तो वो लाइट को हम कैसे परसीव करते हैं, उसकी भी एक स्पीड है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जस्ट टू मेक ए पॉइंट, सन इज अबाउट 8 लाइट मिनट्स अवे। तो कभी भी हम सन की एग्जैक्ट पोजीशन नहीं देख पाएंगे because the only fastest medium we have is through light. So that's another distortion, uncertainty that brings it to the static nature of light. And then फिर हमारी sensory organs हैं। हर किसी की सेंसरी ऑर्गन्स सेम लेवल पे नहीं होती हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, कई लोगों को जैसे बिल्कुल डार्क ब्लू कलर है, कुछ को वो ब्लैक दिखेगा, कुछ को वो नेवी ब्लू दिखेगा, कुछ को वो डार्क ब्लू दिखेगा। तो ये सारी अनसर्टेनिटीज हैं हम जैसे चीज़ों को देखते हैं। अब ये सब चीज़ों के बारे में आज हम बात करेंगे कि अनसर्टेनिटीज कैसे हैं, इसका क्या इम्पैक्ट है। एंड एट द एंड, इफ यू गेट टाइम, आई थिंक वी वुड लाइक टू आल्सो टॉक अबाउट कि ये सब चीज़ें जानने के बाद हाउ डज इट इफेक्ट अस, हमारा जो बिहेवियर है, हमारा हाउ वी कैरी आवरसेल्व्स इन सोसाइटी, उस पे क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है इन चीज़ों को जानने से। तो इसी टॉपिक्स पे आज बातचीत करेंगे। तो पहले मैं अवनीश जी के पास जाऊंगा, उसके बाद हमारे साथ दिनेश जी हैं। दिनेश जी का जो स्पेशल इंटरेस्ट है वो है क्वांटम फिजिक्स। सो आई थिंक ही विल ब्रिंग इन हिज पर्सपेक्टिव फ्रॉम क्वांटम फिजिक्स साइड एज वेल, दैट हाउ द थिंग्स आर नॉट इम्पर्मनेंट एंड इवन द मॉडर्न साइंस सॉर्ट ऑफ काइंड ऑफ प्रूव्स दैट। तो अवनीश जी, आपके पास things are not static and they change with time and our perceptions are also not similar. इतनी अनसर्टेनिटी के बाद भी हम चीजों को इतनी सॉलिडली और इतने उससे सर्टेनिटी से कैसे देख सकते हैं और झगड़ा करते हैं यार जी, यही सत्य है, यही रियलिटी। क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
थैंक यू अमर। आई थिंक इसका मेन कारण तो ये होता है कि बिकॉज वी वांट टू स्टिक टू थिंग्स वी like them to be permanent. And the things we don't like, we want them to disappear immediately.
Yes.
तो उसमें वो personal likes and dislikes हो सकते हैं, but the nature works at its own principles according to its own rules. It doesn't change for you, me, or somebody else. Therefore, to understand that the nature of this universe is constantly changing, or it is not permanent. There is nothing fixed. Everything changes. And it will be very interesting, to bring in Dinesh's point of view as well, because quantum physics also looks in a very similar direction. I won't say the same, because quantum physics looks at it from the measurement point of view, very, very static point of view. While as in life or in Shastras, these are philosophical concepts. So there is some resonance between them, but they are not exactly the same. However, they are going perhaps in the same direction. So one thing is the universe is constantly expanding, and quantum physics has proved it. And in our life also, if I have a house, it is not permanent. It requires repairs. After 10 years, it is much older, or after 20 years, maybe even worse. And then we have to we have a car, or even in relationships, we have children, they grow up. We have grandchildren, they grow up. So and everything around you, you already mentioned, flora and fauna that we see. Today we have one tree, but tomorrow, it multiplies. During the seasons, it fruits and flowers and whatever, or sheds the leaves, during winter and autumn, etc. Booms again in spring. So things are changing, and this is in Upanishads also they say it, particularly Buddhism says, principle of impermanence. If you understand that and do not stick to things as if they are permanent, and if you behave that way, तो वो कहता है कि मतलब दुख का भी one of the main reasons, दुख का कारण ये है कि we treat things as permanent, which they are not. We consider things as fixed entities. They are not. They keep on changing with the time as well. And then the second point, or the second main point that you also said, was about perception. Perception depends upon our conditioning, the way we think, etc. And quantum physics goes a step beyond that. Even the reality changes based on the observation. If you are measuring something, if you are observing it, it will measure, and if you are not observing it, it will measure differently. And Shastras also say Sakshi Bhav, कि the Sakshi जो है उसकी क्या condition है, and we see this in our day-to-day life as well. I might be observing something as very good today, but after some time I'm saying, it is not as good. Or if I'm very peaceful, I observe it as some things in one way, but if I'm restless, I will see things in altogether different way as well. And different people see different, and our normal perception levels are limited, our senses are limited, and therefore we cannot see the whole picture in its totality, as we know. So that is my take on this, that yes, the principle of impermanence is what we should try to understand and work on, and also understand that our perceptions can be different from person to person, from time to time as well.
Okay,
over to you or Dinesh.
Thank you, Nijit. I'll come to Dinesh now. Dinesh, आपसे जब बात हो रही थी, तो one of the things that you said was there are many possibilities that we see the reality in different ways. We have limitations the way we see it. The act of seeing is actually changes the reality itself. So there are many possibilities, and the quantum physics actually proves that. So all over to you. Just explain what you meant, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you for bringing me in discussions. There's a virtual truth is what we see is always in past.
Yes.
We never see in present, and we cannot see future. We can think present, we can visualize, we can plan present. We cannot see present, always see in the past. So, because by the time you see something, it takes time to come to you. By the time picture makes in your mind, and the way you predict through electrical signal in your mind is totally time consuming. Some time is there. That's why our Shastra says Pal, Vipal, and even smart and unit of time measurement, because possibly they knew the time is important, and the time could go to the extent nobody can even understand, I can visualize or map into a normal practice. So I would say, this is the physics of the universe, that the randomness is always increasing. That's path of the flow, like river flows from the high to low ground because of gravity issues. Same, the universe is always moves towards the higher randomness. They call higher entropy. So this means every moment everything is changing. Bringing it back or making it static is required huge energy, because everything is moving. So making something stop is like the inertia is so strong, it's huge energy. That's what exactly happens reverse and before Big Bang. So I think what we're trying to say is, like, things are constantly changing, and we are always living in past. So there's two anomalies. Two, you can say, the points going away from perception reality, and that's why called perceptive realities. Now again, how do you think is basically our sensory organs, how they see it, how they calibrate it and how they can visualize into the way we see the things. So looking at all those aspects, what we really see is not the truth. What we really see is basically a perceptive truth. The truth is for me, not truth for anybody else. Anybody else seeing next to me, maybe other animals or any other people who can see the same thing different way. Again, how the electrical signal is informed in our brains, and how that electrical signal is being, received by our brain, or remapped and calibrated to a reality in our own mind. So what you see is totally different, and this is our truth. And everybody believes that our truth is the truth. Other truth is relative.
Yeah.
So with this understanding, there's always conflict. So once this is the kind of stuff happening that mine is only truth, other is just perceptive truth, then the conflict happens. That's why world is always constant conflict. Conflict of emotions, conflict of act, conflict of narrations, conflict of nature understandings, nature recreations, and everything is conflict, and we live in conflict. Good stuff is that you can see so much conflict going at any moment. Still we live in peace and harmony because we understand how to calibrate conflict, not to just go beyond limits, basically hurt and affect other people. So we can see some violence, something else, but again, the violence has happened because of when the perceptive reality goes beyond threshold.
Yes.
The guys understand that what his truth is much beyond different than my truth, then the things happen.
Yep.
So the changing entropy is basically a physics. Then the quantum computing also comes there. When you see the things, the nature behave differently, and we don't see it behave differently.
Yep.
What does it mean? This means, again, we're living in the past. So once you see the past and you don't see it past, they're totally different. So this kind of stuff is always, slowly we're getting into and finding, anomalies or complication of the natures and convoluting, understanding of the distal dependence of one narration to other narrations, and things are making, as we proceed, as we're getting more knowledge, we're finding that we are still not there. Things are much deeper.
Yep.
So unless you have knowledge, you don't understand how the deep stuff is. And once you start getting knowledge, understanding, you find that things are even more and more deeper and more critical and more convoluted and more difficult to understand. And we're still at the edge of the river or ocean, you can see.
Yep.
So with this, I can see still we are doing very well. Regardless, we have everything uncertain. Everything is imaginary, to be honest. Everything is what we see is all in the past, and we still react on the basis. So that's what I say, we understand our sensory organs, see the past, and make, kind of correlations what it's going to look like in the presence.
Yep.
That's we can say we always think in presence.
Yep.
We always plan in future. So that's exactly what normally is artificial intelligence.
Anomaly. Right.
You see the past, and then on the basis you can just map the future or present.
Yeah.
On future, but we're mapping not the future, we're mapping present and future. So that's my take on this at this stage, and I come back to you, Amitji.
No problem. No, thank you, Dineshji. Wonderfully expressed. I think your observation that we always live in the past, and that's the very nature of our observations, because the only medium that we have that tells us the reality of our sensory organs receive as a reality, the visual one at least, is by light, and that's the fastest moving sort of medium we have. Sound is even slower. If you think of something was said, it was said probably 2 minutes ago. We can see very clearly when the light ring strikes, you see the light first and the sound later, whereas the both happen at the same time. So what you are hearing is probably
you see the Gita
happened 2 minutes ago.
So the Gita is so much into that. So they say, "Jo ho gaya, jo hone wala hai, hoga hai," because you are always in the past.
Yeah.
So you cannot say the future. So jo hone wala hai, hoga hai. You cannot stop it.
You cannot stop it. Yeah, you cannot stop it.
So
Yeah,
Gita was telling the same stuff, but like, in a different way.
yeah, yeah. Of course.
Exactly what the physics is. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I think in many ways we can say, our ancestors, हमारे पूर्वज थे, they were philosophers, and philosophy always precedes pure science. That's a fact. लोग conceive करते हैं पहले, and then they try to prove or disprove that theory through scientific method, as we see, which is measurements and observations and stuff like that. So no, it's
And
wonderful.
philosophy is not like, philosophy is not like a bunch of knowledge. Philosophy is
Yep.
basically the narration of truth in different way.
Exactly, absolutely.
So some truth is
Absolutely.
there, and people narrating in different ways so that common
Different
people
way.
understand.
Yeah,
So philosophy
exactly.
has to be truth behind it. So
Absolutely.
that's why the Gita is philosophy, but it's not without the truth. And the
Yeah,
truth means
exactly.
like science,
Yeah,
the way the
yeah.
nature works. So I think
Yeah.
everything is just like, a level above. You can see ultimately goes to how the creation happens. So I think
Yeah. No, that's very good. That's very good, Dinesh. So other thing you talked about was the way observation, or the way we observe things, the very act of observation that sort of distorts what the reality is. Lastly, you said things are random. Being in a state of entropy, and universe always tend to have the lowest entropy, lowest energy, and maximum randomness kind of situation, which again brings in the perspective of the quantum physics into explaining the same theory that our ancestors probably started on a path. And you mentioned about Gita. Avnishji, do you want to add to it or extend it?
Yes, no, thank you again, Amar, and the good points that Dinesh made. So I would just like to add, 100% agree. Whatever we observe is in past, because by the time we finish observing it, it has already
It's happened.
moved on. But at the same time, even whatever we are observing in present, so just in addition to that, that is 100% fact, and this is where Ardha Satya comes in. Of course, it is true whatever we are saying, but there is something more to add to it. So even in quantum physics, they say when you are taking a measurement, the particles start behaving differently when they are being observed to compare to when they are not being observed. So even atoms could be behaving like a wave, and then under different conditions they will be behaving like a particle.
Yep.
So that is also true, and this is in human nature as well. You sit near the plants, they will behave in certain way, and there is even a school of thoughts, and people have actually experienced this. The plants will behave certainly with one person sitting next to them, and behave differently when another person is sitting. It's kind of a likes and dislikes
Yeah.
that we have. We have somebody we like very much, we would be so happy, and different one. Someone we don't like, and that person has done nothing wrong or anything, hasn't threatened or something, but automatically the behavior could be different. And the probabilistic nature is also true as well, that nothing is 100% certain.
Yeah.
It is probabilistic, it can happen this way and that way. So when we other point is also true, when we believe in something and then start thinking that belief is truth. Belief is a belief because we have not proven it yet 100%. It is not true. Truth is different and belief. So if we understand, one is the principle of impermanence, nothing is permanent, it will change. And secondly, our beliefs are our own, they are not the truth.
Yeah.
Truth to me and to somebody else
Could be different.
can be different. And again, science and shastras go in the similar, philosophies or darshan go in the similar direction, but it will be far-fetched to say that darshan ko science pata thi us time pe. I think they're a little bit different, because darshans talk about life overall, while as science is based on measurements, they're talking about atomic level. So the direction is similar. There's a resonance between them, but they are not the same.
Yeah. No, that's a wonderful point you made, Saib. The philosophy is in a different audience, different way of saying the truth, and in a different time. The thought comes first, and then the science, pure science, sort of comes later. Now, that's wonderful. So the last point I want to raise, and this was our perception and the limitations of our perception, everybody has a different level of sensory perceptions. For example, आपकी सुनने की क्षमता जो है, capacity, it's different to everybody. और आपका environment क्या है, noisy है या quiet है, उससे भी आपको सुनने में different फर्क लगेगा. इस तरह आपकी जो visual capacities हैं, they are different with different people. Some people are colorblind, for example, and even if you're not, you are not the same level of sensitivity to color, and same is with the taste. किसी को मिर्ची ज्यादा लग रही है, किसी को कुछ नहीं लग रही है, पर ये तो ठीक है यार, बड़ा मजेदार है. अगर वो इस पे झगड़ा कर रहे हैं कि यार इसमें मिर्ची ज्यादा है, ये इसमें मिर्ची कम है. सो ये आपकी और लास्टली इसमें जो ऑब्जर्वेशंस में जो है, परसेप्शन में, आपका स्टेट ऑफ माइंड वो क्या है, वो काम है या एजिटेटेड है, उससे भी आपको चीजें डिफरेंट सुनेगी, डिफरेंट दिखाई देंगी. एंड एज अवनीश जी हैज alluded, my truth becomes different than your truth, because my mind was working differently at the time when somebody said something to me than your mind was working. With so much of uncertainty, I always wonder कि जब हमारे आपस में कभी झगड़े होते हैं, चाहे वो पॉलिटिक्स में है, चाहे वो इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे है, और इतनी अनसर्टेनिटी है, हमारी रियलिटी इज नॉट सर्टन, नॉट स्टैटिक, वो भी चेंज कर रही है. वी, एज दिनेश जी सेड, वी काइंड ऑफ लिव इन द पास्ट, एंड हमारी ऑब्जर्वेशंस भी सिमिलर हो ही नहीं सकती किसी हालत में. ये हमारी लाइफ को, इन माय व्यू, टेम्पर्स और शुड टेम्पर इट, शुड ग्राउंड अस अ बिट एंड गिव अस अ स्पेस. सॉर्ट ऑफ एक मैकेनिज्म मिल जाता है जिससे कि हम अपने दिमाग में स्पेस दें कि यस, आई कुड बी रॉन्ग, अदर पर्सन हु इज सेइंग इज that is his perception, his environment, his system that is causing him to think or act in a certain way. I am different, and that person could very well be different, and the both are reasonably truthful in their own way. So ये humbleness भी आती है इससे, मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ी adaptability भी, थोड़ी acceptability भी आप में आ जाती है. And you also become peaceful, जब आप दूसरों को space देते हैं अपने mind में, other person can be different. So the practical purpose of going through this discussion essentially is just to demonstrate that the impermanence nature of reality, limitations of our sensory systems. That's the only way we learn about reality, and also the very act of seeing it, the mediums that we use to see that, even if we are perfect, our sensory organs are perfectly similar, even then, because of the state of mind, we will see differently. So that was my sort of take on that. Any last comment, Dinesh? आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे before we wrap up?
Yeah, like I just want to bring a very valid point. Like still we are at the age of understanding science.
Yes.
Now we understand there's called the twin world. Like
Yes.
world is far beyond from us, but any particle moves there many light years, billion light years here. The same time the particle at the other universe also moves same time, much faster than the speed of light.
Yes.
So something is there which can move faster than, and there's no like real entanglement between the two particles. Same like what we believe, like our मन जो बोलते थे कि move very fast. So what we understand, what my understanding is, like if we hear you or I hear you, it's just like not the voice coming up. Before voice, you hear me and all that. They call like another sensory organs which call man. I can say entanglement. How does it entangle before with you? That also basically shaped the nature. I can say the reflections of your voices coming to me. And that is happened much faster and just already set the target, or set the stream, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
that's why some people like some people dislike some people, not because of what they're saying at the moment, because they are both quiet, but still they dislike, because those kind of
vibrations kind of thing, sensory things we do feel, yes, sometimes. Yes.
Man bolte hain, like, which is much faster.
Yes.
And that happens instantly.
Yeah.
And after that, everything play a role around it. So I think, and that's exactly what the world behaves, to be honest. We're still very early stage to understand those, to measure the speed of that happens, and the nature of how it basically entangle with different humans and human animals. But again, there's something beyond, like say gravitational force is much faster. Then that we constantly fight against gravity in everywhere, and that's why, like fighting against gravity, we're trying to be bigger and faster. That's how sometimes Gravity takes overruns, so we just start going, then still fighting gravity with the same speed. Then our life become like, we force become lower and lower, become old and die.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
we constantly fight the gravity. Some people fight, I don't know, some age, some live like 100 years, some live 25 years, some animal live 15 years. Those animals grow faster, die faster. That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
So why happens like? Are they fighting faster in the gravity against gravity, and then that's why they reach to limit, and then after that they cannot fight and they start declining?
Yeah.
So gravity basically defines. In the past, we have seen in the yogis, like they can go to the area of where they cannot fight gravity, they accept gravity. They
ये तो
assimilate.
ये तो भाई साहब, ये तो एक और पूरा पॉडकास्ट हो सकता है इस पे, अगर हम इस पे.
So I'm saying, once
It's
you
a very
assimilate the
detailed subject.
gravity,
Yes.
you're not fighting
Yes.
against gravity, you are
Yeah,
accepting
exactly.
gravity. And through the gravity, you could live 1,000 years.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
all this stuff, like we are very, very early stage.
Yes, to understand all that metaphysical stuff, which still remains in the realm of metaphysical for us. And I think you have raised some wonderful points, and we'll probably, time sort of takes about.
So I'm saying
Yeah,
how
we need
the
to permit
people
that.
behaves against each other
Yes.
is the way they are fighting with the gravity, the way their money is interconnected, convoluted. All these basically set the stepping stones, and then everything is play on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, that's lovely. Yeah, good to hear from you, Saab. That's very nice. आप कुछ final comment there before we wrap it all up, Avnish?
Just on this our limited perception that we have, because we are trying to explore the nature of the universe, but it is beyond our normal perceptions.
Yes.
How limited. So, मैं इसके बारे में one interesting story I can share was actually one of my colleagues. She grew up in California or Los Angeles or San Francisco, I don't remember. And one day she was telling me the story that she used to go to school, she used to go to college, and when she was in college, she actually went to, and she had some issue, and she went for an eye test, and they found that she needs glasses. And when she got the glasses and she looked at, and she went to the classroom, and she saw whatever was written on the board so clearly, and then she said, "My God, it is supposed to be that clear."
I know.
So, and I mean, this is not a story of a poor country or a village or something. A very highly advanced country, and she was from quite prosperous background herself as well, and she lived so many years thinking that things look fuzzy and that was acceptable, and she was doing it, and it was in college, university time that she found out things are not as she had been living.
Definitely, sir. Certainly. Now, I think there are a lot of topics I've noted down out of the discussion today. It's a wonderful discussion we had, and as Dinesh said, there are things that sort of travel faster than light. And I hope the love and kindness are the other two things that hopefully love spreads faster than light. And with those thoughts, love and kindness to everybody. And we'll wrap this up, this topic at this stage, and come back to you next time with another topic. Stay tuned, and bye for now.
Thank you very much.